Is CNN afraid of getting sued by Kyle Rittenhouse? Let's not forget what Nick Sandmann did. Washington Post lied about him, and Sandmann took him to the cleaners for $250 million, according to media. CNN also settled a lawsuit with Nick Sandmann for lying about him, and it seems eerily similar to that when they recklessly lied to push their narrative. Take a look at CNN.
This jury saw fit. We learned a lot of things in this trial that we should sort of go over, and I was just kind of reviewing some of the things that we learned in the trial that were not necessarily public knowledge before that. One, there has been a lot of talk, especially by politicians, about where Rittenhouse was the night of this shooting, and it turned out he was already in Kenosha, that he had family here, including his father, that the gun was here in Kenosha. He did not bring that over state lines. It turned out during this trial that we learned that the gun that he had a hold of, he actually could legally possess, according to the judge and according to the law here, because of the measurements of the gun. Had it been shorter and a short-barreled gun, then it would have been illegal, but because it wasn't, the judge said that that needed to be thrown out, and indeed, that charge of a minor in possession of a gun illegally was thrown out in this case. The jury only looking at those who were injured, those who were endangered, and those who were killed the night in August that Rittenhouse ended up shooting people. We also learned that he was working here that night, that he had stayed over that night here, and we saw some video of, for example, Joseph Rosenbaum, the first person that he shot and killed. We saw drone video, high-resolution drone video, that did not come into this case until 5 days into this trial, and that is under contention. There was a mistrial requested because of both what the defense called prosecutorial overreach, and they said they were going to file about this video that appeared very late in the game, the high-resolution version of it, but now none of that matters. They're certainly not going to ask for a mistrial after their client has been acquitted in this case. But we did learn a lot of things from that video because it was very clear what was going on. There was a video of Rosenbaum chasing after Kyle Rittenhouse during this time when he had his gun, and at one point Rittenhouse levels his gun at Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum continues towards him, and as he gets close to Kyle Rittenhouse fires his gun several times.
Sounds like they're a little bit scared. We just learned in the trial. Yeah, for sure, a lot of stuff came out in the trial. But also, a lot of these news sources never even tried to tell the truth. And that's why so many people are abandoning them. That's why they're losing in the ratings. That's why their political allies are embarrassingly unpopular. It's because they don't look at both sides and say, this is what happened, this is what they're saying, this is what they're saying, this is the footage we have. They never said that. They just go along with their narrative. So many people called him a white supremacist. He's a white supremacist. They're trying to call him a racist in a shooting that didn't even involve black people. This is how sick the media is. They're disgusting. They're so gross. They're so negative. They're so divisive.
Look, I don't know enough to know whether that 17-year-old kid, exactly what he did, but allegedly he's part of a militia coming out of the state of Illinois. Have you ever heard this president say one negative thing about white supremacists? Have you ever heard it? That's the reason I got back in this race, because what happened in Charlottesville. People coming out of the woods carrying torches, their veins bulging.
I stand by what the jury has concluded. The jury system works, and we have to abide by it.
Do you think, Todd, that Joy and some of these pundits have exposure legally to any sort of libel action?
Yeah, I do. I mean, when you accuse somebody of being a white supremacist, you're basically, and in the situation of Kyle Rittenhouse, you're showing him with an AR-15, and that implies that he was engaged in racist misconduct, and that's generally considered actionable. A lot of these other things, like calling him a school shooter, a murderer, a member of a militia, those are all false statements, and once proven false, then they're actionable. So I think he does have some pretty solid claims here.
So if they were proven false, which they have been, and they're done with malice, that opens them up to, oh my gosh, you know what, Todd, you've probably started calling the Rittenhouse family right now, because I think he's looking at a whopper.
And after months of damage, months of lying, months of misleading people, and still on sports media and other media and Twitter, they're still lying, they're still pushing their false narrative, they still have no shame. But it looks like some people at CNN, unlike others, are starting to feel it a little bit because they might remember what it's like to get sued by a teenager who they defamed, libeled, lied about, and recklessly pushed a false narrative on. It's sad that this has to happen, but they should feel ashamed and start backpedaling because what they said months ago and the truth doesn't line up. And they could say that they just learned it because some of it they did, but some of the video footage was available. It just seems like they ignore everything that goes against their racial and political agenda. Let's see what happens. Let me know in the comment section. Do you think Kyle Rittenhouse is going to nick Sandmann, the fake news media who lied about him and lie about a lot all the time? Let me know in the comment section. God bless you guys. I appreciate you so much, and I'll be back with more videos soon.